like sharing now. You guys have the opportunity to tell of your memories of Mabel. We ask that you keep it brief. Also, this service is being recorded in the back, so if you'll stand up when it's your turn to speak, turn around so whoever's watching on camera can see who you are, we'd appreciate that.
Say my name.
As you wish.
Many a time I've sat by that piano while she was playing just before noon, and I have many memories. I should have done it more, but she's so appreciated just sitting there and playing with her. But to go back further than that, when I first came, when Corinne and I came, Arden Callahan invited me to come to the church and Center for Bible and take his place in the music. And I said, well, we're really praying about a church yet. But later on, Mabel got a hold of me and said, you know what? We really need you. I think God would really use you in our church. So what could I say? So that's history. And need I say that we missed her when she had to leave the church with she had vertigo and different things like that. But I sure enjoyed sitting with her. Just a couple of months ago, I was with her there, and she said, you know, I can't see, can't hear. I said, yeah, I know. We've enjoyed your playing anyway. She said, it just keeps coming out of my fingers. And I said, well, I wish I had those fingers. I wish I could play like that. I had one thing in common with her. I played by ear, and I can transpose any song to a different key. So we really had fun. I really enjoyed her. And Corinne and I became friends.
I'd like to tell you about her generosity. And we were back in the tribe in the late 80s. And she came and visited Mike and Michelle, who were in our tribe then. And one day she came and visited in our house. And I was sharing with her about how we were praying for a new motor for our lawnmower. It had died. And so I just said that in passing that we were praying. We had 4 kids then, and they went to school 1,000 miles away, and we didn't have any money. And I don't know if I shared that, but next month we got $600 from a single lady, and it really took us back. And I remember that till this day. I just wanted to share that with you.
Hi, I'm Wade Ebersol. Several years ago, when I was involved in the other part of the chaplaincy of writing up the prayer and praise reports every day, it was after some time doing that, I got an email from this person, and they were correcting my grammar. And I kind of chuckled a little bit, which is probably because of my sense of humor, and I turned to my wife and I said, look at this, somebody's actually fixing my grammar. And I knew it was possible because my grammar. But anyway, I thought, who is this person and what is she really like? And over a period of time, I got to recognize what she just was really like. And then it was some time later, I heard this piano playing in the ALF, and I'm especially fond of piano music. And I went in and I sat down on the couch next to the piano. And I sat there and watched her play to the mirror in front of her that she couldn't even see, probably. And I thought, I wonder if I can get away with this. And I stood up and I walked over and I sat down right next to her. Of course, there wasn't much seat left, so I was actually brushing up against her. She didn't flinch. She didn't do anything. She just kept on playing. And when she was finished with that song, I thought, well, I wonder if I can get away with this. And I leaned over and I said, do you know such and such song? And she didn't answer me. She didn't turn to me. She just started playing. And so that went on for a couple times, and then I asked her another one. I said, do you know Blessed Assurance? And this time she didn't play. but she turned her head towards my direction a little bit, and she said, well, that's going to be my song at my funeral. And I said, well, mine too. And we sat there and we went on for a few more songs, and I said something else to her, and she took her elbow and she laid it into me, and she laughed a little bit. And I started to realize, you know, this person, now I really know who she is.
I'm Karen Chandler, and I had the honor of meeting Mabel just 9 years ago. We came down from the Upper Peninsula to volunteer here, and we've just been blessed. And I remember the first time she invited us for pasties. And her mother always brought something over when you were invited to a home. And I said, Mabel, what can I bring? She said, you don't need to bring anything. Well, we brought frozen blueberries. And I said, okay. She saw me bring a package in. She had this look on her face because she had already told me not to bring anything. So I opened it up, and she saw, look at those blueberries. I said, I brought enough for share. No, these aren't being shared, and she put them in her freezer. I told her the last time I saw her, I would remember her when I'm picking blueberries this summer. She invited us another time for pasties, and my parents were here, and she served all of us, and she was kind of talking a little bit about the hard times she was having and stuff. The next couple of days, I was out walking, and she said, you sly fox. I said, sly fox, what are you talking about? She said, well, I know you put that money in my cookie jar. I said, I didn't put any money in the cookie jar. My husband had put money in her cookie jar. And don't you know, she needed that money to pay somebody for something, or to give to somebody something, because that was Mabel, as we know. We had a garage sale at our home, and we had our pastor come over. He needed a lawnmower for his mom, and he said, I'm just going to give you 20 bucks. Doug said, no, it's for your mom. You don't need to pay me 20 bucks. Anyway, he gave us $20. We sent it to Mabel. And the next season we came down, she said, I hope you don't mind. I sent that $20 to my friends in Israel. So we learned that it doesn't matter what we give. It's to who we give it to, and it's their need that we give it to them. And so the last time I saw Mabel at the rehab center, I brought home canned peaches, and she enjoyed those very much. And then I forgot to tell her who I was. And she said, I got lots to do today. And I got up and I said, Mabel, what are we going to do? She said, you could clean the barn. That manure needs to be moved. And I said, okay, Mabel, are we going to the Upper Peninsula or are we going to Cochabamba? She said, there's no barn. I said, okay. And when I left, she said, thank you, Mary. So Mary got all the credit for moving the manure.
Don Seeley, and I have fond memories of Mabel because I heard about her at boot camp, first of all. And then I was able to go to Bolivia to cook at the Tambo school. And Mabel was the primary person who helped me and settled me and told me about how things were to be run at the school. And I thought, wow, this is interesting. And I had come from Senegal, West Africa. And on the field there, we were very poor, and we had to ration out our food. And in Tambo, they had their own cattle, they had their own garden, they had their own pork, chickens. They were flush compared to what we had in Senegal. But I had my mind in Senegal and was stingy with some of the food, especially the meat that went out, because I thought, that's what you get, just this much. Well, Mabel came up to me. She says, I noticed that you're not putting out very much meat here, she said. And I said, well, yeah. I said, I figure that's what we should do here. She says, no, we have our own cattle and chickens and beef. You put out as much meat as you can for these kids. I said, oh, okay, Mabel. And so she was really very forthwith, but very kind and very loving. And I remember her, and we had very good times together. And also up here in the Latham Center, I enjoyed being with her and visiting her in her room as well as at the piano. So she's a great friend.
This is David Sharp, and one of my best memories of Mabel was I was in the 3rd grade at this time at Tonville, and she was my music teacher. See there, she had choirs of us kids. And the song that she was teaching us was God leadeth his dear children along. And it was just such a beautiful song, and she just made sure that we sang it right. And I really loved that. It just gave me a real enjoyment for music.
I'm Peggy Castagna, and Saturday, before she went to be with the Lord, Joyce and I were able to go visit her, and I played Amazing Grace right there at her good ear, and we sang it for her. And also to that night, when she passed away that Monday, I didn't know that Blessed Assurance was one of her favorites, and it just came on my mind, and I sang it that night. And I was so thankful that I was able to whisper and talk to her in her ear just 30 minutes or so before she went to be with the Lord, that I appreciated her godly example to me. I have macular degeneration also, and I've always wanted to be just like her. Spitfire and laugh until the end. And I told her that I appreciated that she was faithful to the end, because when we would do birthdays and ladies' tea here, she told us, now you wake me up. You know, if I'm not up, you wake me up, because that's my ministry. And I could tell you that she was faithful to the end doing that too. And I was able to whisper to her, okay, you made it to the finish line, and prayed with her. Bless him.
John Gold here. I worked in the Latham Center, and once in a while she would joke a lot. One time I was cleaning the tables, and she said, you know what I heard? She says, I heard, show me a man with dishpan hands, and I'll show you a good man.
My name is Elsie Gill, and I knew Mom Janowski before we met Mabel. Len and I had entered the New Tracts Bible Institute, and I think we were about the 2nd class of the Bible school. And it was held in Milwaukee, and we had our school, the actual schooling, in the Wisconsin Tabernacle. For those of you who are from Wisconsin and know such things. Anyway, it was before Waukesha. But Mabel was on furlough, and we needed a cook at the Bible Institute. So one day when we came home from classes, there was this little old lady in the kitchen cooking for us. And she had a different way of cooking. She used lots of onions and other foods that we weren't quite that used to. But, well, we've been used to onions, but, you know, not quite so lavishly. Anyway, she was a wonderful woman, and she did her best to make those meals special for all of us. But the time came when she was headed back to Bolivia. And so then we didn't see her again until we went down to Bolivia in March of 1962. And it was down there that we first met Mabel. And she was a wonderful person. She was a dorm mother for both of our daughters. And we just so appreciated her. She loved on the kids that she was taking care of. She met their needs. She helped them all she could. And we just appreciated her. And she's been a blessing in our lives for many years.
I'm Betty Weinmuth, but I was just going to say something that's kind of trivial on the side point. I remember in Tombo, when we would go for graduation or to visit our kids or whatever, one year when the choir there sang, they always sang the Bolivian national anthem, and then they sang the American one too that one year, but the programs that were published listed Mabel as arranging the national anthem, and it seemed like someone was like, how could you dare rearrange our music? Anyway, I'm sure she fixed it up proper, but just thinking of her, there's too many memories, too much to say, but our girls probably spent, well, at least during their little dorm years, more time with her those years than they did with us. And our girls were about a fraction of the people, the girls that she had input in, let alone the whole school and all of their years there at the school. So those in our daughters, part of their heritage lies with Aunt Mabel.